Steve.
Hey Blake, how are you?
I'm uh I'm here and I'm ready for my last webinar with you guys.
Did you dry your eyes out?
I did. Yeah, it's tough, man. Some really nice words coming from people.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of people gonna miss you. So
Yeah, I'm gonna miss everybody too. So yeah, it was tough. A lot tougher than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'm out of here. But yeah, it's tough.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not easy. It's been too many years to be easy, I guess.
yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's things going over there? Well, I mean, we're getting some volatility today. Way more volatility than I thought we'd get, actually.
Well, the range is bigger today, but the is I guess okay. You have a wider range, but when you talk volatility,
I'm not talking about like a spike up in volatility itself. I'm just talking about, yeah, wider ranges.
yeah, wider ranges. Okay, yeah, I got you on that one. Yep, I agree.
More activity. How about that? More activity than I thought there was going to be
Yes,
today.
yes, I
Not
think
not
so.
scared, not scared in the market volatility.
Right.
So
Yeah, but it is interesting that the VIX is up a little bit more again today too, as well. So, because I think we were in
yeah,
the low 11s yesterday, and we're kind of now entering into the high 11s today. So,
volatility is cheap, man. I mean, if you think that next year is going to be a tumultuous year, volatility is not inexpensive or not
no,
expensive.
not right at the moment. It isn't. No,
No,
huh?
no, it's not. So yeah, um, yeah. What was I going to say? Everything's good. How you? So what are you up to right now?
Just answering questions and stuff. I just have one left here, and that's from Yadao. He just says, my understanding is bull debit spread is also known as bull call spread, is it not? And yes, it is. Yes, it is, Yadao. But I don't know what you were thinking to get into that trade that you did when the markets were starting to show a downtrend. So write it in your trade journal. Lesson learned. All right. All yours, Blake.
Okay. Well, Steve, since I won't be talking to you via webinar anymore, this will be it. This is, not until I'm a guest one of these times when you invite me back on. But for the rest of this year, it looks like this is it for us. So,
Okay.
um,
Well, I'll send you
yeah,
an email and have you pick a date that's convenient to you for me to invite you on, and I'll send you an email on that so you can reply back to me.
yeah. I mean, you got my personal email. You know how to get a hold of
Yes.
me.
Yes, I do.
And yeah, I just want to say Steve, you've been awesome. I know in person I've had an opportunity to talk to you, and I can speak on the behalf of all the traders that are listening into you right now. You have a wealth of knowledge, and you're willing to share that with the traders around you, and that's it's awesome because you're like a jack of all trades, and you have a lot to offer, and I think that people are very lucky that they get to listen into you every day because you're just a wealth of knowledge, and you never stop learning, and that's the one thing I can appreciate about you. Where I I if it's a subject that I think it's going to, immediately impact what I'm doing, I'll look at it. But you're always wanting to learn about everything and anything in every facet of the market, which is pretty amazing. I mean, when I go, oh, it's my day off, and I'm going to go lounge around the house. You're like, well, it's my day off. I'm going to go listen to some webinars about how to do a bull, a bull, a bull call spreads, and and iron condors, and I'm like, dude, take a break. But that's the amazing thing about you that I think everybody should appreciate, the fact that you are always willing, able, and are learning at all times, and that to me is pretty amazing. And I hope everybody really appreciates that about you in particular, because it's yeah, like I said, it's a pretty amazing you're a pretty amazing asset to have on the team, because you learn about everything. You've got you may not be an expert in one particular thing, but you are an expert in a lot of different things, but you have a lot of education and on just so many little things that it's cool. And I hope everybody really appreciates that about you, because I know I do.
Well, thanks, Blake. Those are very, very kind words, and I reflect back on what you said this morning. You have to love what you're doing, to be a trader, and I
Yeah.
and I do love it, and I guess that's why I keep, even on my days off, I want to learn more about it because I love it that much. So, but those are kind words, especially coming from a person like you, who I consider a real expert, and I've learned a lot from you. And so I try to model what I do after what you do. So
Well,
uh,
thanks. Well, I appreciate that. And Steve, you've been awesome ever since I met you as a client. And I think one of the best things that I could have done, while steering the ship, the training ship, and the education ship at Wise Trade, is bring you aboard. So thank you so much for being a part of my life for the last 10 years, maybe close to that. And thanks for being such a positive influence and role model for the traders around you and the ones that listen to you every day. So thank you so much.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I
Uh,
should have recorded that, huh?
yeah, yeah. You're like, hey, listen, grandkids, look what this guy said about me.
So I'll be recording lunch money here so I can pass it on to Kip to get it into the archives and the downloads tab. So
Great. I'm gonna
when you
spend
come
some
back from
time.
break, I'll start the recording.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for everything. I'll take over from here.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blake,
Thank
and
you. And
best of luck to you.
and same to you. And I'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure.
All righty.
All right. And traders, this is Blake Morrow. I didn't do a bias chart today because we got so busy talking about everything. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes because I'm going to reiterate some of the things, and most, if not all, and maybe even a little bit more of the things that I talked about this morning for those of you that weren't listening in. I wish to give you some nuggets. I come bearing gifts, so hopefully you'll enjoy. I'll see you back here in a few. Thank you. All right, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Lunch Money webinar, my last Lunch Money webinar, and my last Wise Trade webinar. Uh, I I can't. I know I did this morning. I think a lot of things I'm going to cover here in a few minutes is going to be a repeat. Might be a couple new things that pop into my head as I'm speaking, but um, I wanted. I was talking to my wife just a little bit ago about everything. The comments that I've gotten this morning, the tweets, the sincere remarks from you guys, um, and something that I talked about earlier this morning, and I want to reiterate that this is the next step in my career for me. Okay, and I hope you see this and you go, wow, that's great. It's not like I'm like, oh, all right, guys, I'm hanging up my trading hat and I'm gonna go sell cars, or I'm gonna go do whatever. Look, my career as a trader and as an analyst is moving forward and moving ahead, and I hope you view that as a good thing and a positive thing. This is my next endeavor, my next venture that has everything to do with this market or with the markets. And For those of you that have expressed your, your happiness for me, um, thank you very much. And for those of you that have also expressed your sadness for me leaving, I appreciate that. Because I feel the same way. I really do. Um, but 90%, 95% of you, 98% of you have, are just very excited for me and my family, and that and like I said, I appreciate. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to miss you. I'm not going to miss the heck out of you because I am. I'm going to miss spending time with you every day. You've been as much of a part of my life as I have been of your life for, however long you've been listening in. I cherish what we have had together, and I hope that my words that I've given you, and the consistency and the training for however long you've been listening in, resonates with you. There's nothing more I could possibly want than for that to happen. Is for these nuggets and this training and the education that I've given you over the years to resonate with you guys, for the rest of your careers. That's all I want for you. And my wife also said, like you could have jumped on a webinar and started selling something, but you don't. You just you're giving these people, talking about you, giving these people, last nuggets of information that you can think of to help them along their way, and that's all I really care about. That is really all I care about. So, with that being said, let's talk about something, because not everybody had a chance to listen in this morning. Some of you are listening in twice, which is great because repetition is always great. Some of you just didn't have the opportunity to listen in. So I'm going to give you, and I'm going to hopefully pass on some knowledge that I think has helped me over the years, and can help you as well. So, the first thing that I talked about this morning was having a plan. Having a plan on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. One of the things that I pride myself on, and I have over the years, is that I'll sit with traders every morning and I'll look at the market. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever currency pair we're looking at, and I'll say, okay, here's the XYZ, here's the Canadian, here's the whatever. I'm looking at it and I want to buy this dip if it drops down to here. What I'm doing with you every day is I'm developing a trading plan, and then I trade that plan. Now, can I deviate away from the plan? Sure, of course. Crap happens, market happens, volatility happens, news happens, headlines happen, life happens. There's things that are they're going to happen throughout the course of your trading day that can alter your plan, of course. But to set forth your day in the markets without some sort of plan that you're trying to attack, in my opinion, is financial suicidal. So what we try to do every day is formulate some sort of plan, some sort of idea about what we want to accomplish that day. And when I say accomplish, doesn't mean accomplish maybe is not the right word, but what I'm looking to do, and accomplish not in the respect of I'm going to make $1 million today, or I'm going to make X amount of great trades today. No, what I'm trying to look for is I'm trying to look for certain patterns in the market that I have seen or I think will happen. And like I said this morning, for some of you just earlier today, what I said earlier today is your time in front of the computer will pay off. Some of you are quicker learners and quicker studiers than others. Me, I'm not. I'm one of those I'm one of the slower learners. All right. I mean, I spend 14 hours probably on average in front of my computer every single day. I mean, you think about that, and you're like, wow, that's like your whole day. Yeah, pretty much my whole day. Like the moment I get up until the moment I go to sleep, I'm pretty much in front of my computer, and I peel away to eat, or maybe to go run to practice. But it's probably actually more like 12 hours, that I spend in front of the computer. But 12 to 14 hours is not really, you count, 6 hours of sleep, maybe 5 hours of sleep. I probably clock in a good 12 to 14 hours. Why? Well, it's because of what I do, and this is my profession. But more importantly, is I'm not the fastest study, so I need to work hard at what I do. But you will be compensated, because what you're doing by spending time in front of the computer, looking at your charts, reading the news, is you're absorbing information, you're absorbing education, you're watching price action. The more you watch price action, the more you're going to learn patterns. Naturally, you're going to learn price patterns. You're going to learn why the euro tends to move at 3:30 in the morning, why at 11 o'clock in the morning things tend to shift. You'll start to understand, like, every time the euro comes up to this resistance, it rejects. You'll understand that every time the euro pulls past its ATR by about 6 or 7 pips, it tends to reverse. Those are the little nuances that you pick up because you spend time in front of your computer. There is no get rich quick in the markets. There's ways that you can simplify your learning, really, and simplify your process, but really there is no get rich quick. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes dedication. And hopefully the last 15 years you've seen the type of dedication that I have in the markets, and I have to you and had to you. How I'm assuming those of you that have listened in to me for as long as you have, you could count on one hand how many times I had not shown up to be with you every day. That I was too sick to get in front of my computer and broadcast to you. I can't even count on one hand, unless it was a scheduled time off that I was going to take, a vacation or days off or whatever. It's always been, I'm here, I'm consistent, and I hopefully that shows you what needs to be done in order to be successful in the markets. Look, I can't guarantee you anything. I can't. I can't guarantee your success. But I can guarantee you that if you put forth the effort, the chances of you succeeding increase exponentially. And I know most of you, if not all of you, are extremely hungry. You're extremely hungry to make money. You're extremely hungry to do better. You're extremely hungry to enrich your lives financially. So to do that, hopefully I've set forth a decent example for you. So with that being said, going back to kind of the things that we were talking about, plan your trades. Take the time. Learn the charts. Figure out what you want to do ahead of time. And then trade your plan. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Plan your work, work your plan. Same thing. But you'll notice every single day we get in front of the computer and I say, all right, I'm a buyer when it gets here. I'm a seller when it gets here. Do you know what you control when you do that? What do you control? And it's not your destiny to a certain extent, because I control. No, you don't. It's not that you can control. You control your risk. Like if I'm sitting here looking at the dollar Canadian, and yesterday we were sitting right here yesterday, and I said, look, I think this is a channel. Okay, I think this is a channel. This is yesterday morning. We were right here. I said, look, And you remember we wrote down resistance at 135.20 yesterday on the dollar Canadian. And I said if it gets up to 135, 135.20, it's probably a short. We got to 135.19. No, we got 135.20. We actually hit it to a T yesterday and reversed. Now we obviously have continued on since then. But look, if you look at the markets and you have an idea of what you think is going to happen, and it happens, you're going to be more apt to take that position. A, that's one. B, you can control your risk really good, because if I sit here and go, okay, I'm only interested in buying the dollar Canadian if it drops back down to this trend line, that means I want to buy it when it gets to 134.15, and my stop is going to be right below 133.90. Great, I now can control my risk. Did it happen? No. Should I be upset? Absolutely not. Things happen all the time that I do not expect. I expect a lot to happen. And it's not like I'm doing some sort of advanced fortune telling. It's just, sometimes the markets don't work out the way that I planned. But if they do, then that helps me control my risk. It can helps me control my trading, my emotions, as Melissa and David said. Okay? And that matters when you're trading the markets. So remember, plan your trades. Another thing that I talked about this morning, and I gave you the old Kmart analogy, which I don't think I'm going to have time for right at this moment. One of the things that I talked about was buying a pullback. Okay, when things go higher or lower, and I'll pull up the example that I used this morning. When things are moving higher or lower, they don't go straight up and they don't go straight down. Okay. If something's moving higher, it'll eventually pull back, and that pullback will give you an opportunity to buy it cheaper. Or if something is selling off and it's moving lower, when it bounces, it gives you an opportunity to short it at a higher price, and then you can cover it when it moves lower again. One of the things that I did not learn when I first started trading was to buy things as they pull back or they go on sale. Right? If I think that something is moving higher in price, okay, I see price moving up, but I'm not a buyer when it's moving up. I'm a buyer as it's coming down towards support. Now, when it moves up into as it's screaming higher, when people are scrambling in to buy, I like to be the guy selling it to them. When it dips and everybody's panicking that it's time to get out, I'm the guy buying. There's an old saying in the market is buy low and sell high. There's a reason why they say that. It sounds great in theory until you're in front of the computer and you start going, oh my God, I gotta buy this thing. It's never gonna come back down again. That's how frenzies start. When you think about like the housing crisis. Think about all your friends, maybe you, that said, oh my God, I'm gonna buy a house now because the prices are never gonna go down again. Yeah, okay. Never. And then you get stuck buying the top, and then you have to short sell your home or whatever. Same thing happens in the markets. People get excited. They get euphoric. When they're euphoric, that's usually the time that I'm selling. When people are frightened, people are scared, market dips, those are the times that I'm buying. You have to really think about that. Like one of the things, you can write this down as a note. Put it on your checklist of things I need to do before I buy or sell something. The first thing that you should do, am I chasing? Am I chasing? Am I chasing? Am I chasing a breakout? If you answer that question yes, then you say, okay, I'm going to stand aside till it dips. And then once it dips, then you go, okay, now I'm going to buy it. Because I would way rather buy here. I would way rather buy here on a chart than be a buyer here. Right? I'd way rather be a buyer here than a buyer here. Like I said earlier, if you feel that you have this uncanny, uncanny skill of always picking the top or always picking the bottom, if you think you're just like some superstar at that, and you don't know where you got these wonderful superhero type of powers of always picking the top or always selling the low, that means you're chasing. If you stop chasing the market, you will never buy the high or the very low again. Think about that, what I just said. If you don't chase price, you will never be the person buying it at the high or selling it at the low. That I can guarantee. The only way you pick the top or you pick the bottom is because you were chasing price. No other way. There is no other way. Okay? All right. Buy pullbacks, sell rallies, buy things when they're on sale, at a discount. George says, now you tell me. Come on. I've been saying this for... I turn blue in the face sometimes saying this stuff. George says 15 years. That's right. All right. Now, one of the things that I didn't really talk too much about this morning, but I feel that is a necessity, is discipline. Okay? That's the one thing. Well, there's a lot of things that I can't control, like as an educator. Okay? It really is like a lot of things that I just can't control with you guys. I can't control your emotions, and I definitely can't control your discipline. I can't. What I've learned over the years is if you lack discipline, you can pretty much throw success out the window. That's it. If you lack discipline, you just won't you won't be able to succeed. You have to have discipline to have proper risk management. You have to have discipline to always plan your trades. You have to have discipline to make sure you're up and at 'em and analyzing your charts and developing a plan. You know, discipline's key. Waiting for those positions, waiting for that perfect setup. Okay, or those setups that you've been planning. Discipline is key in this business. When you look at my charts, okay, and you look at everything that you see here, and this is another thing that I've always prided myself over the years, is that my charts don't change. It's not like you caught me on a Tuesday afternoon and all of a sudden I've got some, strange, Bollinger Bands and CCI and advanced decline line, and I don't do that. I use the same chart setup all the time, and I don't change. And the reason why is because it works for me. Now, I'm not telling you that what I do is the Holy Grail. There is no Holy Grail. You guys understand that, right? And if anybody tries to sell you on the fact that there's some system that you can guarantee to make money and all that stuff, there isn't. There's no Holy Grail. But when you get comfortable with whatever you're looking at and whatever you're doing, and you find some consistency, never let it go. Never let it go. Because most traders, what happens is most traders, this is just a normal evolution, is they they trade, they find some consistency, they start trading, and what they think the way that they're going to make more money, the way they're going to make more money is by doing and doing, throwing in some crazy ass indicators and doing something different. That is not going to make you more money. What's going to make you more money is just increasing your position size comfortably. Instead of trading one lot, you trade two. Instead of trading two, you're trading four. Instead of trading four, you're trading 10. It's having a system. But once you have that system, stick with it. And one of the things that like I said, I've hoped that has really resonated with you guys over the years is that I don't change my system. The charts you see are the same charts. It's the same charts. Every once in a while, my charts get a little screwed up, and I have to readjust and put everything back where I found it. But it's the same thing. It's the same process, year after year, day after day. I know, and I know when I screw up. When I screw up, and when I screw up, and I start deviating from my plan and my strategy, the way I trade, because I'm too arrogant, I'm too cocky, which I fall in the same traps that any one of you would. Even 20 years later, I still do. All I know is I have to go back to the basics. I know what the basics are for me. That doesn't mean they're the basics for you. One of the best traders I know, he says, it's just about having a process. Do you have a process? Yes, I have a process. If you have a process, then all you're doing is you're adding zeros to it. That's how we do it. That's your holy grail. It's not, this subset of indicators and you got to buy this and spend $100 a month to get this secret sauce. There's no secret sauce. You have to figure it out for yourself what works for you. That I just try to give you some tips. Hopefully some of the things that I do help incorporate into what you do. That's it. Okay. All right, let's continue on. So I had a note here. It says just don't overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple. Whatever simple is for you. I mean, the definition that I have of simplicity versus what Steve Bealby has, completely different. And that's okay. It's okay. If that works for Steve, it works for Steve. It doesn't work for me, but it works for Steve. That's great. That is fantastic. Okay. Have your own ideas. This goes along with, developing a plan. And this is good. Actually, let me stop and talk about this. Have your own ideas and have your own conviction. If I tell you, hey, listen, I'm buying the euro dollar here right now. Why, Blake? I'm blah, 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 blah. I've got this and that and this and that, and I'm buying it. That's great. Should you take that trade? Not necessarily. Not unless it fits into your plan, into your trading plan, because you don't know what my approach is to the market. You don't know why I'm buying the euro. You don't know what my risk management is at this stage. You don't know what I'm thinking. It's my idea, not your idea. I'm not saying that we can't have the same idea at the same time. Of course, you and I could look at the euro at the same time, two different computers, and say, man, I'm buying the euro. Why are you buying the euro? I'm buying it for this, 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 and you could say, I'm buying it for this, this, and this. And you know what? We have the same idea. Okay? It's not original. But if I say something and I say, I'm buying the euro, and you go, well, I'm buying the euro, well, that doesn't make any sense because you don't know what the thought process is that I have behind it. Like, yeah, I may be buying the euro, but if it drops 15 pips from here, I'm going to scale out, or I'm getting out, and if it goes another 30 pips, I'm going to add to it, and I'm going to leg in 3 other different ways, because I feel this, and that. You have no idea. You have no idea the thesis behind it. So instead of following traders, especially traders you don't even know who they are, you don't even know what they're capable of, you don't know where they came from. Traders that you learn to respect, take in the information they give you and factor it into your own decision, your own idea. If I said, hey, listen, I'm shorting the euro, and you were already shorting the euro, and you respect what I have to say, then hopefully that just helps give you the confidence of saying, hey, I was thinking about shorting the euro. Blake's shorting the euro. I'm shorting it because X, Y, and Z and Z. Okay, well, that sounds like a great idea. I'm glad Blake's doing the same trade as I am. Not, oh, Blake's shorting the euro. Well, I'm going to short the euro too. The flip side to that is, and I'm just talking about me. It could be anybody. If I say, well, I'm shorting the euro and you're long, and you go, man, I really, really respect what Blake has to say, because I've been listening to him for a few years, and I've seen the work he does, and I really appreciate and I respect it. He's he's going long, and I'm short. Maybe I need to try to figure out what the hell he's looking at. Maybe and have that question and shoot holes into what you're doing. Because I have people just like that for me. There are people that I look at and I have the utmost respect for, and if they're doing something, it will factor into my decision making. Like, oh shoot, what are they seeing that I'm not? The flip side is I have people that say, I'm shorting the euro, and I said, this dude's never right. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I have those too. I'll never tell you who they are. Trade secret. All right. One of the other things that I talked about this today before we go on break is I talked about the size in your trade. Okay, sizing your trade. Size does matter, no matter what you're doing. There's a litmus test you can take when you're trading. It is real simple. Can I sleep? If you cannot sleep at night, you are trading in too big a size. You are, plain and simple. If the position is too big, you will not be able to sleep, period. You should know what your comfort level is. You should always know what your comfort level is, right? Um, I don't know. I can't define that for you. I don't have a. I don't have the luxury of knowing, um, how much of a position, how big of a position you have, or excuse me, how big of an account you have, how small of an account you have. I can't help you make those decisions. You'll know what your comfort level is. So when you have your comfort level, you have to say, okay, this is my normal size. I'm comfortable with this. Then from there, you should know how big of a position you should be taking based on different ideas that you have. Classify your ideas into a couple of different categories. I have a good idea. I have a great idea. And then I have an idea that, I've been waiting around for the last month that finally came to fruition. Like I said this morning, I probably have 2 of those a month. 2 of them. And I get severely upset when I miss it. But it happens. But because I know they just don't come around all the time. Those really great ideas. Like I've been sitting here waiting for the dollar yen to dip to 116 for the last couple of days. Like to me, that's a, relatively good idea. It's better than just normal because I've been waiting for it for a couple of days. But even though I won't be trading for the next week personally, but if it dipped down to 116, I'd be a buyer down there, and I'd probably put a little bit more size on it because I've been waiting for it. I've had it as a setup. It's been in my plan, my trading plan. All right, but classify them into in a couple of different categories: an A, B, or C trade, or a 1, 2, and 3 trade. Three being it's all right. It's just my normal trade. But if it's a two trade, or if it's a one trade, those are the ones that you want to take bigger positions on. You want to be a little bit more aggressive. Those are the ones you've been waiting around for. And listen, I've been in trades where I've waited around for 2 months for a currency pair to do what I thought it was going to do, and it did, and it got there, and I bought it, and I was wrong. That does happen. It will happen, but you have to take those shots, and you have to know when to take those shots. So classify them. Put them in a couple different categories. And one last thing I want to talk about before I take this break is, there's a common saying that goes around the markets: don't add to losing trades. I think that's hogwash. I don't agree with that. If it's planned, if you plan a trade and you say, if this pair or this instrument goes down to here, I'm buying, and if it goes down to here, I'm buying a little bit more, and then I'm out when it gets here, that's fine, because you've planned that out. Now, to add to a losing trade when you weren't planning on doing it, that is a mistake, because your sizing and your risk is going to be completely off. See, when I get into a trade, I go, okay, well, I'm buying here, then I'm going to buy here, but I know if it goes down here, I got to get out of everything. That means I've already factored in what that's going to cost me when I get stopped out. It's already pre-planned. But if you just buy something and then all of a sudden it drops down here and you're like, oh man, well, if I liked it here, I'm going to like it down here too. I'm just going to buy more. Now you're doing a martingale strategy. That strategy is sure to knock you out of the business faster than anything else that you could possibly learn. Okay. So again, when you talk about adding to a losing trade, it's okay as long as you've pre-planned it, because you've already factored in the risk. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about. We're going to actually talk a lot about risk management. That's like next of things I want to talk to you guys about. So don't go anywhere. I'll be back in maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, and I wrap up a few things, and I'm going to take a couple of your questions, because some of you have really taken some time out to type me up some long comments, and I want to address those. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll be back in a few. Sorry about that. So I've like I said, I've got a few more things I want to say, and then I want to address as many of the comments as I can that have come in. So let's get back to it. Let's talk a little bit about risk management. Okay. One of the things that that I've come to realize after doing this for so long and dealing with the retail, and you're retail, I'm retail, dealing with the retail traders for so many years, is that most people go about risk management incorrectly, in my opinion. What they always ask me, especially when they're new, is, "Hey Blake, how much are you trying to make in that trade? Hey Blake, what's your target?" That is like not my first question. My first question that I always ask myself is, what's my risk? What is my risk? I hope you've gotten in the habit of that after knowing me for so long, that when you get into a trade, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, okay, I'm going to buy the euro dollar. I'm using that as an example. I'm going to buy the euro dollar. Where do I need to get out? Because if you can answer that question, then that loss that you may take is already subconsciously in your thought process. Now, you may not be happy if the euro drops 50 pips and you get stopped out, losing 5 grand or $500 or $50 might hurt a little bit, but you know you already knew it was a possibility. You won't have that deer in the headlights look. You know that deer in the headlights look? Do you know what it looks like? The As you're getting steamrolled, you know that one? The Like you become paralyzed. You're like you don't know what to do. You only have that look if you haven't thought about your risk ahead of time. I laugh. I no, I'm sorry if it not like meant at you directly, but when I see people and they become paralyzed in the market, I'm like, it's your own fault, you know? Now there isn't going to be something that happens. I mean, I look, I was stuck in the Swiss National Bank debacle, you know. I had a stop in, and I had $650 in profit. I went to sleep. I got up in the morning and I lost 15 grand. That I had a deer in the headlights look. I was like, I'm like, that was for me at that time when that happened. I'm like, that was 2 months in profit. Boom, gone overnight. I mean, that will happen to you. It will. I mean, it's not like it won't ever happen. It will. But but in a normal trading environment, like if you pre-plan your risk and you get stopped out, it's already up here that, oh, that was my risk. I was risking 5 grand, or I was risking $50, or I was risking $500, I was risking $1,000. It won't affect you, because what happens is when you become paralyzed and you can't, you're like, oh my God, I'm losing this money. What is happening is, A, you're taking a loss, B, you're paralyzed, and C, you will not see opportunities in front of you, because usually when that's happening, everything else is happening at the same time where you could have made a truckload of money. Like a lot of times I'll sit in a trade, and I'll be in a trade and I'll say, okay, well, here's my stop. Okay, I got my stop in. And as the market is reversing, stops me out, I'm already looking and taking advantage of getting in the reversal in other pairs. I'm like, ooh, that sucks. I just lost 5 grand. That's all right. And I turn around and and I'll make it up and then more, going back the other direction, because I'm not paralyzed. I'm not at the mercy of the market, because I already knew that that was my risk going in. Subconsciously, then it's not a problem. It's not an issue. So risk management, remember, pre-plan it. Know where your risk is, and just understand that your reward has to be more than that. So if I'm looking at here, let me pull up something. If I'm looking at like, for example, I was using this one this morning. If I go, look, if the dollar yen dips down to 116, I'm a buyer. I'm going to buy on a dip. I'm going to buy it when it's cheap, and I'll put in a 30 pip stop. Great. If I buy it at here and I put in a 30 pip stop, I'm risking 30 pips. Can I make at least 60? Yep. If I buy it here, I can make at least 60. Good. Because once it dips and I buy it and I figure out I didn't get stopped out, and then I'm in a profitable position, at that stage in the game, then I can start figuring out how much money I'm going to make in this thing, because things might have shifted. It might, maybe we got some economic data that is now become favorable for the particular trade I'm in. And instead of just targeting risking 30 pips to make 60, I risked 30 and now I'm making 180, because I actually bought it at a good price, but now everything from a fundamental standpoint is really working in my favor. Okay, so again, always know what your risk is first and foremost. One of the other things that I talked about this morning, and I want to reiterate, is we all have. I'm just trying to turn my chair here. We all have we all have good streaks and bad streaks. Okay, when we trade, Like there are times in the markets that I take a step back and I think, man, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to lose money. Doesn't matter. I could I could buy the euro right now, it's going to go down. I could short the dollar yen, it's going to go up. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to lose money. I am man enough to realize that I'm in that situation and I will take a step back. You have to figure it out when you are in and you have to figure out what that equates to. Oh, I took three losing trades in a row. I need to take a step back. You know what? You'll know when you're off. When you're off, you have to step. You have to, instead of digging that hole, you have to drop the shovel because the hole's getting deeper because you just keep taking more and more trades and you're going lower and lower. You're digging that hole deeper and deeper. Drop the shovel. Drop the farging shovel. Put it down. Take a step back before you dig that hole too deep. I was saying earlier, there's a lot of smart people in the market. Smart doesn't necessarily translate to successful because the problem with people that are too smart is they think that they can outsmart the market and they then become pig-headed and they're not willing to take a loss because they know it's right. They know they're right. I'm right. Euro's going to go down. Why? It's going down. It's going down. But it just bounced 300 pips. I don't care. It's going down. I'm too smart. You can you can you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure this out. Okay? You have to realize that you cut your losses early and you let your winners run. It's such a like a old saying in the markets that will always be there way before way before it got here, way before you got here, and it's going to be around decades to come and centuries to come past the time that you're trading. Just it will be. Cut your losses quickly and let your winners run. Be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's just not okay to stay wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about. I love doing what I do. I love I love this. I love this. I love the markets. I said it this morning, I love the thrill of the kill. I love it. Nothing better than just booking like a huge profit based on an idea that I had. You have to have passion about what you're doing. But understand that this job, it is boring in a sense. It's mundane. I look at the same charts and I do the same analysis every single day. It's maddening sometimes. But the market is always challenging and there's always so much to learn. And you'll never learn it all. You'll never learn it all. You can always learn something new every single day. But no matter what you're doing, whether it's the markets or whatever, you got to love it and you got to have passion for it. And the one thing that's helped me over the years to have passion in the market and love what I do is that I try to smile all the time. just kidding. I try to I try to smile and I try to have fun because if you don't, you're going to have a very tough time. And when I get frustrated, and believe me, I get frustrated. That's usually the point that I know I need to step back. I need to remove myself from the markets a little bit. It's only numbers. It's only money. But if you sit here and you stress out and you like, you break things and because early in my career, 20 years ago, I broke keyboards every day. Not every day, but like literally like once a month, I'd break a keyboard. I'd twist my keyboard so hard that the keys would start popping out. I'd like literally and I'd start twisting and keys would pop out all over the place. Then I have to go get a new keyboard. But what I've realized as you get older is you can't do that. You gotta smile. I mean, you gotta smile and have fun. Laugh a little bit. Because if you don't, it's gonna be a long career for you. And it's probably gonna be a short career. Now, hell, it could be a short life too, because this is not easy. What we do in the markets is not easy. It's stressful. You got your money on the line, you know? So you have to take a step back and smile a little bit and laugh it off and have fun. And I hope over the last 15 years that I've spent with you, you've realized that we can have fun. We can make fart jokes. We can talk about polka dotted underwear. We can have fun. Okay. You don't have to be in a suit and tie and, be all rigid all the time. Let loose a little bit and have a good time. Because life is short. I said this morning, I'm not a religious guy. I'm not a super religious person. Um, but I do know this, or I don't know what's on the other side of this life, when I pass away. I believe in certain things, which is irrelevant to this conversation. But what's more important is coming to the realization is we're only here for a short period of time. So let's enjoy it. Let's have fun. Let's be passionate about what we do. And like I said today, I really, truly appreciate having the opportunity to be in each and every one of your lives. It's been a very humbling and very pleasurable experience for me. And I hope, some of the things that I've talked about today um, can stay with you for the rest of your lives. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna read a couple of your comments because they're so good. Some of them are, and they all are actually. I'm gonna try to read as many as I can. Dan says, hey, I've been listening to the Morning Edge for almost 13 years. This is my first lunch money, so it better not suck. Thanks for the education, which is now being passed down to my daughter. Never expressed often enough how much I appreciate the impact this and you have had on my life. Thank you. It's been my pleasure, Dan. Rye said, let me get this in early. I said thanks yesterday and earlier today, but before you go, give us one last Smurf song. It was annoying, but I'm going to miss it now. Good luck on your new endeavor. Fa la 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 la. La 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 la. Yep, there you go. That's for you. And maybe we're gonna have to do one of the come on, donkey. Just take the carrot, donkey. Never know. Don't look down. Just keep on buying stocks. It's okay. It's okay. Just take the carrot, donkey. That's right, donkey. Don't look down. Mm-mm. uh, Kyle said, I've got Notepad ready to preserve whatever scraps of genius you are benevolent enough to throw us. Joe said, don't make me cry again, okay? Okay, I'm going to try not to. Joel said, Hey Blake, it'd be great if you do the bias chart for every day. Put it on Twitter. Thank you so much for all the work for us, and I wish all the best for you and your family. Joel. Thanks, Joel. JT says 7 years ago I was just a kid in his early 20s with a dream, and you have to achieve that dream. A huge thanks from my entire family. You're a true hero defined as a person that helps other people out of goodness of your soul. Thank you, JT. Some really nice words. Alan says, my notes from this morning, if anybody needs them, buy low, sell high. Men, while you're trading, you are polishing your head. Women, if it's too big, you can't sleep on it. That about sums it up. Going to miss you, Blake. Milton says, you've been my routine every day from morning to lunch webinar. You will surely be missed. Thank you for all your effort, not just in trading, but also in real life lessons. Wishing you the best and more success in your endeavors. I'll be monitoring your every tweet like a hawk from now on. Hee hee. God bless you and your lovely family. Thank you, Milton. Thank you so much. Joy says, wishing you the very best on your new journey. We will really miss you. Wishing you and your family all the very best holidays. Thank you for everything you've done for us. My pleasure, Joyce. Thank you for always interacting with me, too. David, wait, hold on. David, oh shoot, he says, Blake, over the last 12 years, you've taught a great deal about life and trading. It's amazing how you just have given us your wisdom on everything. You made a difference in my life and that of my family. I wish you the best in your new opportunity. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll have lunch soon. David, your neighbor in Cave Creek. Yeah, David, make sure you reach out. I'd love to see you, man. I'd love to have a bite to eat. We can meet over at the Pita Jungle over in between us at Desert Ridge. Good stuff. George says, damn Blake, thanks for everything. Good luck in your next adventure. Thank you, George. Kyle says, I'm going to do my best to listen in on the train in New York City. Fingers crossed it doesn't cut out. Good news is I think well, I know Ziggy had recorded this, so there you go. Robin says, that's why I said I want a Wikipedia page and billionaires list. Max said, Blake, I would buy a car from you, seriously. I'm not selling anything, Max, but thank you. Larry from Houston said, Blake, thank you for 11 great years of training and wisdom from you. It's changed my life. Best wishes to you and wishing you a great success to come. Larry Trader from Houston. Larry has been a constant comment interactor with these webinars for 11 years. Thank you, Larry. George G says, I'm selfishly cursing you right now. Laugh out loud. Words can't explain how great you have been for me and every trader who is lucky enough to listen in. Thanks, George. Bo says, good day, Blake. Happy holidays to you and yours. No, thank you. So all we have to do is do what you do and laugh to the bank and enjoy the sunsets. By the way, Blake, you are one of the last of the Mohicans. Thank you, Bo. Radzio says, thank you, Blake. I'm really grateful for what I've managed to learn from you here, and I regret it won't last longer, but at the same time, it's cool you're moving forward in your career and wish you all the best. Thank you, Redzio. Vartan, I cannot repeat that. You know I can't, but we're both laughing together. How about that? Gene says, Blake, I made it a point to be here today in the webinar to tell you this. In this neurotic world, it is an honor to have been associated with you in the capacity of a teacher, and what makes it great is that you are not pretentious and you are brutally honest, and that is the essence of a great person. Best of luck to a well-deserving guy and a phenomenal trader. Excelsior. Thank you, Gene. Sydney says you will be missed. So we can follow you only on Pipzar. Will there be other ways to contact you? Thanks, Sydney. I'll still be posting in the Forex Analytics team, so you can follow me there too. Jack says, Blake, you are family. We have listened and communicated daily with you. You have provided encouragement and hope on those days when things have gone very badly. Not only do I wish you success in your dream, I'm confident you will be successful. I want to see you being interviewed on CNBC from your success, like Jared. You've given many unnamed people tools and insights to help improve their success and lives of more than you can imagine. A gift worth more than just money. I appreciate the opportunity to be your student, and I sincerely thank you. And that's from Jack D. Thank you, Jack. After all of these years, thank you so much. Greg says, hey, Blake, does you leaving Wise Trade make my Blake Morrow bobble valuable? It may. For those of you that don't know this, the Wise Trade group made, here, let me grab mine, had made a series of bobbleheads, maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. This is the Blake Morrow bobblehead. It's dusty. Oops. Yeah, there's only about 300 of them in existence. Well, there were. Uh, Unfortunately, over the years, I'm assuming due to bad trades, I would say I would narrow that number probably down to about 30. So if you still have yours, it might actually be worth something in the future. Who knows? uh, Lorraine says, these parting words are true gifts from you again, Blake. You never stop giving, even to the last minute. Thank you, Lorraine. Joy says, listening to a mentor is priceless. Thanks, Blake, for taking the time to give us what you've got. Your experience over the years is priceless. I love you. We'll miss you. Thanks, Joyce. George says, think Bertie Madoff when somebody says you can't lose. That's right. That's exactly what you should be thinking. Kyle wrote, hey, I just wanted to say thanks again. I've only been trading since last September, and I was so fortunate to stumble upon your webinar as one of my first acts in researching Forex. After listening for a few months, I had begun to develop even a tiny understanding of the market and how much knowledge was available. I was able to realize that I essentially stumbled upon a unicorn in Blake Morrow, and I don't think I could have sought out a better teacher. If I'd been conscious of everything I was looking for, it really feels like winning the lottery to have had the privilege of just listening to you and picking your brain. It's been an honor, in the purest sense of the word, to learn from you over these last 15 months. And I think for the rest of my life in trading, I will always think back to these webinars and the lessons you've bestowed on us. Your badass voice will always be in the back of my mind like Obi-Wan, keeping me disciplined on the path. Thank you for making me a better trader, Blake. Love you and gonna miss you. Thanks, Kyle. Joe said, Blake, thanks you so much for the years you have made a difference in our lives. Best wishes to you and your family in the future. Please leave your bias chart template with Kip, Stephen, or Polly, so one of them make format that have you ingrained in our heads. And I did. Stephen has it, and also Paul Franco does. Ollie says, greeting, Blake. Thank you for sharing your Shaolin wisdom all these years. You'll be missed. I wish you continued success in all your endeavors. Wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Best wishes, Ollie. Thank you. Dan says, wish you all the best, Blake. You deserve it. Could be happier for you and your family. One last request. Please tweet when you trade the cable so I can go in opposite of you. Laugh out loud. Just kidding. That's funny. That's funny, but so true. Frank says, Blake, thanks for everything. I've learned a lot from you. You've been so generous with your knowledge, and I hope that one day you'll be able to do the same for somebody else. I wish you nothing but the best. Hope you crush these markets in your new venture. Thank you, Frank. Jeff says, hello, sir. My last webinar question for your concerned stop losses. I'm afraid to use times because it seems like they've invariably go up and grab my stop before the market turns in the direction as I expect it to go. At times, my stop has been beyond where the market is even traded, and they steal my position anyway. Whole system seems rigged and is unfair. Is that a common issue? I often find myself using manual stops. Well, I think you should always have a stop, and you have to protect your account at any given time. Jeff, you have to always. Club Metro, hold on really quick. I'm going to give you my email, okay? Excuse me. There it is. Vladden says, Blake, I would like to thank you for all the valuable free lessons you've given us during these years. It has helped me become a much better trader than I was before, so I'll be sure to follow your analysis of Forex analytics and Twitter in the future. I wish you success in your future endeavors. You certainly deserve it. Thank you, Vladden. Appreciate that. Shirley said, oh my God, I'm already having Blake Morrow withdrawal symptoms, but seriously, you have motivated me every day. You are the best, Blake, and I sincerely thank you tons and tons. And that's from Sky High Shirley. Thank you. The team says, Blake, I'm literally crying right now. I miss your cat wailing, singing. Carol said, I've been with you for 10 years. You've been soberly helpful with my trading. When I do my own thing, you were there to pull me back from doing the wrong things. God bless you and your family, and best of luck in your new endeavors. Thanks for 10 years helping my family. My pleasure, Carol. Ted, thanks for everything, Blake. Good luck. We'll miss the show. Thanks, Ted. Benita says, experiencing major withdrawal symptoms. Thanks for everything. Congratulations. Thank you, Benita. Patrick H says, Blake, it's been an invaluable 5 years. Going to miss you. Thanks again. Club Metro says, thanks again for being a great American Ninja Warrior and Marine. You were also one of my many trading Sifus, and listening to you since 2004 has been a world of fun and enjoyment, and it's too bad that I won't be able to tease Paulie the way that I do you. He gets too grumpy when we mess with him. Don't forget us and come back to see us with Kipper sometime. Salute and hoorah, Marine. Job well done. Thank you, Jonathan. Jeffrey says, Blake, thanks for giving me the tools and skills to stop leaping from boat to boat, but to become the captain of my own boat. May the waters ahead be calm. Best of luck. And to you, Jeffrey, and keep inspiring people with your art, buddy. He was in our chat room for a period of time, and Jeffrey, keep on keeping on, man. Reach out sometime. I'd love to see what you do. I'm a fan of artists. I love buying art. Probably one of my bigger downfalls, actually. But I love it. I love it. Hassan says, I had to get up for one last webinar. It's 5 a.m. here in Melbourne. Thanks for all the wisdom you have passed on over the last 5 years. I've been listening. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family. You're a true gentleman. Thank you, Hassan. Greg says, don't listen often, but always had enjoyed what you've shared with us all. From Great White North, have fun, Asian cowboy. Thank you, Greg. Chuck says, Blake, since you first showed up in Minneapolis with the Wise Trade Roadshow back in the early days, I've enjoyed following you. While not a Forex trader, I'm forever grateful that you and Kip survived to keep teaching and sharing your knowledge this long. Thank you, Chuck. Andres, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And guys, I just just want to say again before I sign off, this has been the greatest experience that I've could possibly imagine work-wise. If I said that about my family, they'd be upset. But really, from a professional standpoint, you guys, for the last as many years as I have, some more, some less, you've truly have really humbled me, and you made me realize that it's this knowledge that I've been fortunate enough to possess over the last 20 years, and I've been through the ups and downs of the markets, and this knowledge that I'm transferring to you, I hope that you can transfer to the ones you love, the people around you, so we can make it possible for us independent traders, us independent investors. We can win. It's not a rigged system. It's not. We can do it. We can do it together. And these guys at Wise Trade, with Kip, Stephen, Paul, Chris, and whoever they bring on next, which they inevitably will continue this tradition of helping the individual investors. So thank you all so much for your time. thank you for letting me in your world and in your life. Um, Follow me on Twitter. I'll be very active after the first of the year. And thank you.
Thank you, Blaker. We love you.
Man, love you too, Kip, and love all you guys out there. I'm going to miss you all. But I'm going to sign off now.
All right, buddy. Hey, you and your family have a wonderful Christmas. Have a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, and we'll be in touch.
All right. You guys have a great one. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. And thank you. Signing out.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, man. And there he goes.